Welcome, everybody, to 3Beards of Wrestling podcast. I'm your host, Shane. Next to me is Adrian, or El Diablo, Adrian S.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Brian changed his name for the second time before we came live. So, and Brian's underneath him. What's up, fellas?
What's going on?
I don't know how you change your name more than most people change their underwear, which is a good thing.
You're supposed to change your under. Oh, I gotta go.
Oh yeah, it is Thursday.
Yeah.
You got on your Sunday panties. That's the problem.
So let's hop right into it. So this weekend I'll be in Woodbury, Georgia, where I take on El Diablo. Yeah, that's pretty funny. That
El Diablo.
So, and then next up after that is Brian will be at SWO, where Order 66 takes on Rose Gold Inc.
Is that a title match? That looks like a title match.
It's a title match, and actually, it's a title match with the person that is going to be on the podcast next Monday. So,
wait, what?
Yeah.
What? Okay. Well, what else we got?
Busy month. So after that show, After that show, November 24th, Tasmania 2, our annual Black Friday show in Lebanon, Pennsylvania. As it was announced last week, where I will be taking on Alan Cross. Brian, I forget your match. Who were you wrestling?
Me versus Zeno.
Yep.
Right. Yep.
And then right down the highway in York, Pennsylvania, Red Saturday, Valor Pro Wrestling. So 2 shows back to back that weekend after you guys put your turkey in.
And tickets did go on sale on Friday of those, so make sure you get your tickets for that. So.
And then is it next week? Next week is not Corey. Cody Rose. And then the following week is Eric Hayne.
Woo!
Yeah. And then
know that man well. Yes.
One of our guests for Black Friday, our main guest, I should say.
The guest.
Yeah. Is Rob Noxious. So yeah, a really busy month for indie wrestling and especially our podcast too. And Brian, you want to do it?
I got it. So make sure you follow us on our handles. You got Instagram, you got Facebook, you got YouTube, you got Twitch, you've got the X or Twitter, and Spotify.
And that weekend, those weekends, I will be wrestling heart disease and diabetes. So please tune in to see which one is winning.
Hell yeah!
I'm gonna be wrestling my blanket.
Get
out of bed.
Yeah. It's a rough match. It's a rough match. It's very rough match.
I think maybe I guess we can't do that. I was gonna say maybe we should do a Christmas one, but we'll be wrestling on Christmas. Well, I will be.
I'll be wrestling.
Yeah, and Brian will be wrestling Christmas too. To December 25th, after you guys open all your presents in Rutherford Youth Center, CCW will be having a show Christmas night. I don't know. Well, we don't have a poster for it yet, but I'm sure if you guys
it's coming. It's coming.
So don't worry about that. So you ready, Adrian?
I am ready. Ladies and gentlemen, our guest tonight is the very infamous Mr. Diamond Dex Cross himself. Welcome, Dex. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm so excited to be here.
Oh, I'm glad. You should be excited. This is a great honor for you.
It is. You know what else was a great honor was this past weekend.
I swear to God, if you say anything about shut up. Just shut up. We're talking wrestling. We're not talking about you being a whore. So let's get it.
Well, speaking of wrestling, did anyone watch Crown Jewel?
Oh, sweet Jesus Christ!
I did not. I was away and I did not see it.
So I did get a video that just because a lot of people talk bad about this dude, but he saved definitely a botch and definitely saved some injuries. So I'm gonna play that video, then we're gonna talk about it.
Yeah, the offense by Logan Paul. Oh my goodness, Logan Paul grabbing Mysterio out of midair, delivering a power slam and a kick out by Ray. That was almost a disaster.
Yeah. I am so tired of people underestimating this man's talent. Logan Paul is a very, very talented individual. Like, I know he's this, internet personality, did all the YouTubes and the Vines and shit like that. But this kid trained his ass off to be a wrestler. He's been performing pretty well. So there you go.
Yeah, I think I saw the video, and the first thing that went through my mind is, here's a guy that does not have years and years and years of experience and still managed to recover a botch that way, protect his in-ring partner, and come out of that looking great. That was really something.
Mm-hmm. Golden rule in wrestling: protect your opponent.
Yep.
So many people talk so much smack on this dude, and for not wrestling a day in his life and then just becoming a wrestler, he's pretty good for just starting out. He's pretty good. I mean, I've seen people that been wrestling a lot longer that hasn't nowhere that close. So I mean, Adrian,
you should not talk about Kiesel that way. He's right there. It's hurtful. It's really hurtful that you would say these things. Jesus.
We do got some comments. Hi, Courtney, Jason Holt every week.
Hey, Jason.
My wife. Yeah, I know. I can't believe I don't have a hat on either. And then David watched Crown Jewel. He's from YouTube. Bro, is that you, Adrian? And his profile picture? That looks like you, bro.
I don't know who the hell that is in his profile.
No, that looks like you.
Does that look like me? I can't tell. I'm gonna have to double check and see. The screen's too small. I don't know.
I'm gonna go on his YouTube and look.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have somebody investigate that for me, please. Security.
He could be a big fan. Maybe he's just a big fan.
My boy
Marty.
I
don't know. Some fans are crazy.
Yeah, definitely. So let's hop into let's talk about Dex. Who's losing off?
Let's talk about Dex. Let's talk about that. You know what? You can go first, Mr. Hope.
Mr. Hope. Horan.
Mr. Me. Oh man. Okay. So what so I know I've wrestled with you. I've wrestled in locker rooms with you and that too.
You wrestled in the locker room with him.
I did. It was a long story.
It was very inappropriate. Very inappropriate.
It happens. Stuff happens. So what were some of your big influences in that too? I know you wrestled, you managed and stuff like that too. What were some of your big influences?
Well, certainly growing up, I loved Bret the Hitman Hart was one of my favorites. In terms of talking and so forth, which is probably what I'm most well known for is my mic work. Jake Roberts, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, all those guys in that era that could really, really talk. Bobby the Brain Heenan is, in my mind, probably the best manager of all time. Paul Heyman, I could keep going, but those are the ones that really, I think, had the most influence on me for sure.
Those are some good people.
Very good people. Very good. LA Knight should have won. Boo hoo. Anyway,
can we just touch base on LA Knight?
They need to hit it and hit it hard before the train derails.
Age.
He's not getting no younger. He's in his 40s.
Don't get me wrong, the man is over.
Oh yeah.
He is over. But I don't think. I mean, definitely, I don't think they would have put the belt on him. I don't know. I don't know who they're going to put the belt on. maybe Roman will carry it for the rest of.
Well, but now what's posted up in that too is that Hulk Hogan was at 1,474 days, and Reigns is trailing behind that. But it's crazy though because Hogan had like 434 title defenses, and Roman's got 56. So
yeah.
I think that probably talks to the difference between how the business is promoted now versus what it was then. At the time, Hogan was carrying the company, so to speak, on his back, whereas now, they position the company as the entity you're watching instead of pushing the talent. I know it was probably about a year ago, I saw an article where it was, I forget what magazine it was, went out and asked the average citizen to name one of the last 10 WWE heavyweight champions. And the top 3 answers were The Rock, Hulk Hogan, and what the heck was the other one? It was 3 names that were nobody who's held the belt in the last 10 belt holders.
Probably Stone Cold.
I think it was Stone Cold was the other one. And that was so bizarre to me. And it's just, and then they said, well, what about Roman Reigns? And pretty much everyone went, who?
Yep.
That's just the way that the company works these days. So they push, and I think they do that simply because back in those days, the stories of Warrior trying to hold Vince over a barrel and stuff like that. I think they position things differently, and I think because of that, they don't put as much emphasis on the champion being out there defending it as much because it's not him they're coming to see; they're coming to be part of the WWE universe.
That makes sense.
Agreed.
That makes sense.
Do you prefer like with the people that you've watched, the people you tailored your style to, and that too? Would you prefer managing versus in-ring wrestling, and that too for yourself?
Well, for me, I didn't really have much of a choice. When I started in the business by accident completely. I had been working on my first film at the time. I needed some stunt people, and the pyrotechnics guy I had suggested, I know a few wrestlers that will be crazy enough to come out and do this. And sure enough, they came out, and one of them was a gentleman that went by the name Luscious Johnny Graham. And he trained wrestlers and was a wrestler. And after the filming was done, he said to me, you're a pretty good sized guy. Would you consider wrestling? And I sort of said, nah, I don't think so. And he said, well, what about refereeing? And I said, okay. And of course, as any of you know, for the sake of the audience, as a referee, you're still trained to work so that you know how to bump properly and everything. And so as a result of doing that and wrestling guys in the training center, it just sort of came naturally. And the next thing you know, I was in the ring wrestling. But I was injured in an accident at home. And when that happened, it ended my wrestling career. I really could not wrestle anymore. And at that point, I took some time off, just figuring that's it, I'm done, until Corey Gebhardt, the Inferno, he hit me up the one day and said, hey, why don't you come back and, come in? I've got this guy named Mal Havoc. I'd really like you to manage him and get him over. Anybody who knows Mal Havoc knows he's a really great guy. And as a result, it's pretty hard to get him over as a heel sometimes, especially in those days. He's much better at it now. But back then, he was a heel that was selling $300 worth of merch every show. So it was difficult. I came in, and I remember after the first show, I think I was on the mic for like a minute and 20 seconds, and we got booed out of the building. They were ready to kill us. And it was the following week that Havoc was griping that I went from $300 of merch to selling nothing, and it's all your fault. And I looked at him and I said, yes, but you're over, and that was that. And after that, I have to say that, comparing it, I have absolutely loved managing more than I did wrestling. And I think it's because as a wrestler, I was your typical mid-card wrestler. I was never going to be that main event guy or whatever. Yet as a manager, and because of the way I talk and because of the way I'm involved in storylines, my goodness, I've been in so many main event angles or semi-main event angles that, I've had a better success rate and a better part of my career as a manager. So I absolutely love just the on-air personality. I love commentating. I love being the commissioner. any of that stuff, it's a lot of fun.
Awesome. Heck yeah.
So you've had more fun in total, kind of being the voice of certain people, getting to work with certain talents.
Yeah.
I know there's been a couple of matches like where I've got to sit back and watch, and you and I have talked about your injury and whatnot, and how you have to kind of talk to a lot of these guys because let's see how to put this. SSW is known as the Isle of Misfits, right? Like,
absolutely,
the people who come in, and not all these guys are as well trained or as as talented as most people, as most, but you kind of, I got to see you kind of talk to them and kind of be like, all right, this is what I need you to do. So that training that you've had and being able to kind of like navigate, that a lot came from your training as a ref or just being able to be around certain people or like your training with wrestling.
I would say that I was very, very fortunate. The guys that trained me did a really, really excellent job. John was a great teacher. And the guys the boys that were in our locker room at that time, that were at the training center all the time, really had a big hand in that. None more so than the late Insane Sam Desperately, who was a great friend of mine. And he and I wrestled all over the place and did all kinds of crazy stuff together. So between those guys, I really had a good base. But then in addition to that, because of my limitations after the injury, I think that's one of the things that's really helped me in SSW, because as you said, we are sort of an island of misfit toys. I know Corey likes to say that. Yeah, I prefer to say that we're a learning fed, in the sense that we have a lot of guys that are, early on in their career, they need a little extra help. They need a little extra hand holding at times or whatever. And in that respect, I think my life away from wrestling as a writer, as a filmmaker, as somebody who's very good at telling stories, psychology is extremely important to me. And so I spend a lot of time, as telling some of the boys, don't worry about a move set so much. It's not about who throws, 12 Canadian destroyers. It's about, it's about who can really tell a story in that ring if you can get people emotionally involved. As the case in point, Adrian, I had a match with you. We didn't do a whole heck of a lot, but I think we were in there total maybe 8 minutes. But at the end of it,
not even. At
the end of it, there were people crying in the audience. There was a little girl hysterical outside that thought you killed me. I had to go outside and console her. It was, and we didn't do much. Yeah. And that's where I'm saying sometimes the moveset doesn't matter. It's about telling the story. And I think that's where a lot of guys get messed up. They're so worried about going out there and spot after spot after spot. Take time to sell, take time to make it matter, take time to get the story over.
Yeah. That one will always be like one of my favorite matches, because I remember telling the boys, because there was a certain spot the boys were supposed to rush it. I remember we're sitting there, was like, well, how can we make this more? And I was like, I got it. Like, before this happens, I need somebody to scream no, as loud as you possibly can, just scream. And they're like, that seems kind of weird. I was like, just trust me on this. So we get to the spot, and then boom, the thing happens. He screams, and everybody's just kind of like, it's dead silent. The kids crying. People go to rush.
The best part of that is that, and just for the sake of anyone watching who didn't see the match, it looks like Shango breaks my neck. And of course, I went down like a stone and just did not move. And the best part of it was our ringside doctor, who Dr. Brophy, love him dearly. He's up in age at this point. The poor guy has difficulty getting into the ring if he has to, but that man pretty much raced to get into the ring, and he gets over top of me and he grabs my hand, and I said, "Hey, Doc," and he looks at me and real quiet says, "Jesus Christ, I thought he hurt you for real. You didn't move." And just selling.
That was fun. That was real fun.
I like Jason Holt asked if you would manage El Diablo.
Would I manage? I'll manage anybody. Absolutely. I'll manage anybody.
Look, you cannot manage Suicide Myers. It's not going to happen, okay? So El Diablo, Suicide Myers does not need a manager.
I actually think for one match somewhere along the line, I did manage Suicide Myers.
Well, he wasn't El Diablo then, so it doesn't count.
Well,
at that time, he was only 6'1", not 7.
Well, yeah. He has since grown, but yeah,
exactly. Milk does a body good.
Shane's gonna go see him this Saturday, and he's gonna be like 4'6".
I saw somebody comment saying that sometimes it's different if they're if you're in Mexico or Japan or whatever in terms of moveset or what have you.
Mm-hmm.
No, I would agree with that 100%. And let me stress that there is always room on a show for a match where the guys are going crazy and, as I like to call it, the flippy stuff. Absolutely. I have a great respect for it. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just where I find it egregious is when you have a show and it's nothing but that. I personally, as a fan, I don't particularly like that. I love story. I want to see something that grabs me emotionally, so to speak.
When you get guys who that is the basis of their moveset, that's when it gets a little old. Like, this guy has done the same flip the same way in each and every match. He's done the same counter the same way. It's the same setup each and every match.
Yeah.
Like, there was a guy who would watch all the time, and I was like, oh, he's getting ready to do this. And then somebody was sitting next to me, was like, have you already seen this match? I was like, no, he does this every match. He's getting ready to do this. Watch. This guy's going to duck this. He's going to flip over. Boom. There you go. But I agree. It gets boring.
Yeah.
Adrian's a flippy dude.
I used to be. And then I got the shock of my life and had to stop.
That was well done. I was waiting for you to look the wrong direction. Like, no.
Oh, were you supposed to be looking at me?
Yeah. I'm looking at you.
I got what he was doing. I'm just in his head, he's like, turn this. No.
Yeah, it was very impressive, I have to say. Yeah.
I mean, I'm an impressive individual. What can I say?
You're a professional.
Yes, exactly. I'm a professional.
So when Dex says about having the gift of gab and that too, if anybody hasn't checked out and everything too, and you want a good chuckle, a good laugh, and that too, his TikTok page, pretty funny stuff, a lot of good funny content on there. So,
I mean, I taught him everything, so I'm proud of him. I'm very proud of him.
I didn't see him drink bacon soda, flavored soda. Nobody even mentioned that, Brian. So we're not going to talk about that, Brian. Well, I did, however, say if anybody brought it to Black Friday, we'd try some. So
there's actually a soda out there that's supposed to taste like Thanksgiving dinner. I really want to get that, Adrian, for you to try. I think
I can't. It's against my religion.
What? No. There's other things you've said that are against your religion. I won't mention them here because I don't know if we go that way on the show. But
absolutely against my religion.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely against my religion. Huh?
What was Jason Holt asking about hot sauce?
I mean, there was an incident with hot sauce, but other than that, we're not going to talk about it.
Why don't you tell Shane how you drank the hot sauce?
So, anybody else have any other questions for Dex, or am I just going to sit here?
What was your favorite moment, either wrestling or as a manager, or just at a show period?
Oh man, boy, that's a tough one. Oh gosh, there was our second MDA show. We at SSW we've done a benefit show for MDA for the Muscular Dystrophy Association, and the second one we did, we were at Appalachian Harley Davidson in their showroom. They took all the bikes out, and that's where we had set the ring up. And we had 2 cage matches. We had a dual main event, and one of them I was involved in. And just the group of guys that I was involved in that match with, we had such a good time in that ring. I mean, we beat the living tar out of each other for probably a half hour. But it was one of those things where you're working so hard, and the crowd, it's so over. And at the end of it, we all stood there and just broke kayfabe and actually took a bow to the audience as they stood and cheered for us. So I think I think that's probably my favorite moment. It was really a lot of fun, and it was with people I absolutely adored, and it was just and then a close second is actually, believe it or not, the match I had with Adrian. It was a lot of fun. Bringing Adrian as Shango into SSW was one of those things that I championed right from the start. I really wanted him there badly. And to have that match with him, especially that late in my career where I wasn't able to do a whole lot, but I could at least go out there and put him over. And to go out there and do that, was a privilege for me. And then it wasn't that long after that, he's standing there holding the heavyweight belt up that he won. And it was like, for me, that's another moment for me. Even though I wasn't involved with it, even though I wasn't, as a writer, I was involved with it. On creative, I was part of it. And what made it so good for me is because it's a guy that I love and respect, and he's one of my best friends. And to know that we could put that belt on him and give him that moment meant a lot to me. It meant something to me. I really, really, it was a good night for both of us. Yeah.
And again, like, I can't thank you enough for that. That was a shock. That night was a shock to me because I was not expecting that. I was like, oh, wait, we're doing what? And then shortly after, like, that was it for me. Like a couple months later, I was kind of infamous. So I mean, it's bittersweet, but it was.
I'll be honest with the audience. I cried. I stood in the back and cried. I was. I
wasn't gonna tell nobody you cried.
No, I didn't. No, you know what? I don't hide my emotions, man. I really, really don't. I've reached a point in my life where I've seen enough people go way before their time. I don't hide anything. I tell people everything. I don't care. And it was a great moment. Just a great moment.
Adrian's first belt win?
No, it was my third. It was my first heavyweight. It was my third title.
Was your first with the UFC gear, or
you just not gonna let it go? You just gonna keep going with the gear? Like I don't use it anymore. Okay, I stopped.
Jason Holt says, "What do you think about ladies wrestling guys?"
Oh, I think that I personally think it's fine because our business is what it is. Our business is a performance. And so I think that in that respect, I think you can get a lot of storyline. I think you can get a lot of drama. I think you can get a lot of everything out of man versus woman. It has to be done right. It has to make sense. You can't, you can't take 100-pound girl and put her in there with a 400-pound guy and expect that to be a 20-minute match. You can't do that. So
they better body slam them.
Yeah, certainly on creative, you have to make sure that it makes sense. But I don't have any particular problem with it per se, as long as as long as the guy's respectful. You need to make sure that you trust your talent, that the guy's not going to go out there and take liberties or do something stupid. But at least in our area, I think in this area, we have a really, really good base of people. You don't really see too much of that kind of nonsense go on. So, and some guys they've made a career out of it. Stan Styles, who I absolutely love. I mean, he does the intergender thing all the time and does it really, really, really well.
Yeah, that was a pretty big topic that we had for like weeks talking about that. It was like like a 3-week thing that we like every week we were talking about intergender wrestling.
And I think we all just kind of it's got to make sense.
Yeah,
it's sort of like a one-way sign. Like
No, that did not make sense. It knocked some sense loose, and I still cannot remember the third grade. But other than that, we're not talking about my pain and demise. We're here to interview guys. So,
why not? We always talk about your pain and demise. It's fun.
No, it's not. It's not fun for
the rest of us.
Not fun for me.
If he never told you the story.
Oh God.
Me and Adrian were in a cage match.
Mm-hmm.
And we were wrestling, and I think it was probably the middle of the match, I guess.
Close to the beginning.
Bend the whole sign around his head.
You ever seen one of those cartoons when they got like a little crowbar and they hit something and it's the shape of the thing that they hit? Yeah, it was a lot like that. it was a lot like that. I can understand, like, maybe exhaustion had kicked in and he slipped. No, I went back and watched this raggedy bastard swung for the fences. The sign touched his asshole and he swung straight down as hard as he could. But
I mean, I'm sure it looked good.
Oh, the sound was amazing. I just don't remember it. It was like one of those gongs going off, like boom. Yeah, it was something like that. Not to mention the fact, since we just gonna sit here and put me out, Shane, what was the first match that we had that was really shocking to you?
Are you talking about the taser match?
Yes, I'm talking about the damn taser.
So you got to back someone up on this. So, what is the point of a taser match? To tase the motherfucker, right?
You tease it, and then you don't tase them for real. You tease it, you like.
I mean, here's the thing. The audience is very close, Adrian. So, I mean, you don't want them thinking you're faking it.
I hate you slowly. I want you to.
Why?
I hate you slowly. That I've never broken character. I never planned on breaking character at that point in my career. But when someone tases you directly into the nipple, not the chest, but the nipple. He caught my nipple. And I was like, yeah, I made some sort of noise that if you ever find a video you can hear, you play it back. It did, my nipple was on fire.
The problem is I'll probably play it back like 300 times just laughing at it, honestly.
You would.
I had paint in my eyes, so I couldn't see where I was tasing.
At least be glad your nipples weren't pierced.
Yeah.
No.
So it could have been worse.
It could have been.
Brian, could you see the piercing literally just like shooting right out of his skin at that point?
It would have been
the other
fine.
people in the match are getting electrocuted because it's just
Yep.
Yeah, a fire. My whole chest would have been on fire. Would have been smoke. We were sweating, and water is the conduit, and it made worse. Like everything, it hit my nipple, but I felt it all over because of the sweat.
Sure.
So in other words, every time that me and Adrian wrestle, it's always a blast.
Yeah, it's a shock to everybody.
It's electrifying.
Yes, it always ends with a bang.
a shocking finish.
Mm-hmm. Yes, very, very shocking. Very shocking. Or it's a safe shot.
At least a shotgun finish.
No. We would never do a shotgun finish. That was already won.
Inside joke, I guess.
That was already won. That we will never do the shotgun finish. That the boom boom finish has already been done.
You're right. It's actually the boom 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 finish.
Yeah, 3 booms. Boom boom. Boom.
I think that was 4.
Remember he missed the 3rd grade, so
yeah. I forgot.
He says he missed it. We just keep trying to tell him that he just never went.
That makes sense.
Listen, if he's talking about the one where Aubrey was laying across the table and Jamal jumped off the 2nd rope and bounced off of Aubrey, and the fans were like, "Do it again." So Jamal's like, okay. He went up even higher, did it again. This thing sounded like a redwood, just like.
I think the table was a shot.
When we did the baseball the baseball show, we beat that. So we put Garrett Anderson on the table.
Yes.
Rob Frog splashed him. Didn't break. So we put Tucker on the table. Rob Frog splashed Tucker, and then I swantoned him off the top rope to the outside. And that table did not break.
That table said, "Hell no, I won't go."
That's at least the audience knows you didn't gimmick the table at that point.
Exactly. Exactly.
Real.
Sometimes you just wish that table would. There was a particular time that I went for a table spot and missed, and then I don't know what happened after that.
Oh, when you fell on your head?
Oh yeah. There's a picture of that floating around somewhere. I kind of look like Dak Prescott, but other than that, it's okay.
It'll be on next week's episode.
I think one of my favorite table spots. This is a few years back. I was managing Corey, the Inferno, outside the ring. There was another manager on the heel side, and I think he was wrestling Dokken. And the spot that was going to be called for us, we were going to put the two of them on the table, and Corey and I were going to come off of the apron through the table. And several weeks prior to the match, Corey looks at me and he says, "You're not gonna puss out, are you? I mean, you haven't gone through a table in a long time." And I looked at him. I said, "Look, I'm going through the table. I'm not. This is not going to be a big deal. I'm going through this table." And this keeps happening. I mean, day after day, week after. He's like, don't you puss out now." So we get to the show. We're getting ready for the spot. I set the table up. I throw the one guy on the table, throw the other guy on the table. I get up on the apron. The crowd's chanting my name. I'm getting into it. I'm all jazzed up, ready to go to this table. Corey climbs out onto the apron. We do the little gimmick where we touch pinkies. He looks at me under his breath and says, "That table looks really far away." And I grabbed onto him and I said, "Shut up and jump, you pussy." And off we went and table just exploded. And all four of us on the floor. And then when we got to the back, I'm like, "You almost pussed out." No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I'm like, "Yes, you did. Yes, you did. You got on the apron." And and every time he tells the story, from that point on, every time he has told that story, the table gets another 3 feet away for some particular reason. I don't know why. Apparently it's in the next county. The next time he tells a story, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. That sounds about right. Damn table was by the entrance.
Yeah.
I think we all have those stories.
Speaking of what is your favorite road story? Like, do you have a road story?
Oh God. Okay. So I have two, but I'm gonna go with the one that's probably better for family consumption. I was at Apex, I believe was the name of the company, with Havoc, and his wife was along, and I forget who else was in the car with us. And we did the show. We're leaving. We're on the way back down. And, I'm one of those people. I'm in the back seat. And if I see something, my internal voice doesn't really happen. I just blurt it out, right? And as we're going by this McDonald's, I happened to see the sign, and I said, "Oh, what do you know? They've got the McRib." And Havoc, who is now flying down the highway at about 65 and is almost completely by the entrance to the restaurant, says, "What? The McRib?" And immediately doesn't even bother to hit the brakes, just turns the wheel when we basically go flying at a 90-degree angle, like over the curb into this parking lot. We're screaming, but Havoc had to have his McRib. And, yeah. So we almost died so Havoc could have a McRib. That's probably one of my favorite stories. The other one, which I will try to edit for time purposes and for where we were, I was with Sam. We had a habit after shows of going to a gentleman's establishment and looking at ladies. We'll say it that way.
Oh, so you went to a strip club? Okay.
Yeah. Oh, okay. We can say that on the show. I didn't know what the rules were. So we're at a strip club and we're sitting at a table, and there's a little teeny light hanging over the table. So that's the setup. So we went in gimmick because we came directly from the show. So I've got the smoking jacket on, the whole 9 yards. The girls are joking around with us. We're having a good time. And one of the girls that was with us was apparently there was another guy with a group of guys that was several tables over, and they kept staring at us because he clearly wants to talk to this girl, and she's not leaving my lap for any reason. So at one point or another, this guy gets up. He's had enough beers at this point that he decides he's going to come up and say something. And he comes up and cops an attitude with me. At which point, Sam reaches out and just touches the guy on the chest and says, "Excuse me, do you have an appointment to talk to my friend?" And this guy stops and looks at him like, "What are you talking about?" He said, "Do you have an appointment to talk to my friend? Let me check the book." Bam. "No, you don't. Go back and sit down." Now, for purposes of explaining, Sam was about 6'2". He had blue hair and was wearing a shirt at the time that says, "I punch people in the face. It's what I do." So why in heaven's name this guy would want to come up to him and step to him, I have no idea. But this guy said something else. I don't remember what it was. And it really ticked Sam off. Sam reached out. He grabbed the light bulb that's in this light, and you could hear his fingers sizzling on the light bulb. And he slowly begins to unscrew this while keeping his eyes locked in this other guy's eyes. He takes the bulb out and smashes it on the table, picks up a piece of it, and begins to eat the glass.
The hell?
Which is something he did. Sam did a sideshow, so he knew how to do all this circus stuff, and eating glass is one of the things he did. So I knew what he was up to the moment he grabbed the light bulb. So I am completely no-selling this whole thing. I am no-selling it. The girls are sitting there, mouth agape. The guy who stepped to him is like, holy shit, what is happening here? Sam eats the thing, swallows it, and takes a big swig of water and opens his mouth and sticks his tongue out. And this guy just slinks away. And as this guy goes over and sits back down, I looked at Sam and without skipping a beat said, "How was it?" And he said, "A little salty. I hate 40 watts.
Wow.
Yeah.
So we got a little bit of time left. So is there any upcoming shows that you would like to promote or anything?
As a matter of fact, this Saturday night, we will be at Love Drafts Brewing Company in Mechanicsburg for November Rain. I will be involved in a drinking contest with the Jack of all spades, Larry Zimmerman. And if he wins, he becomes the chairman of the board. If I win, he is out of here. So, yes, we're going to drink ourselves half blind in front of the audience for fun. We'll be drinking all evening. Come out and check that out. We also have a main event. It is a hardcore match. It is our current champion, Steve Sarks, defending against Kid Mike. And it is title for title. So Kid Mike is also putting his ultra violent championship on the line. I'm sure the match is going to be insane. I know Corey's going to address the audience about his retirement. We've got all kinds of cool things going to be happening. The Team Baby Daddy will be challenging for the tag team championships against Charm City. With two guys that I absolutely adore in Alan Cross and Lewis Rich. So and I like Team Baby Daddy as well. So even just as a fan, I'm excited to see that match. So tickets are on sale. Please come out and see us. Please come out and support indie wrestling. And of course, all the shows that were talked about at the beginning of the show, buy tickets for those and go out and support those as well. Definitely.
I love wrestling. Love Drafts. Love Drafts is always so fun.
They really pull out of all the stops for us, and they really love us there. So we have a really, really, really good time performing there. And of course, it's an point of fact, it is an R-rated show. So you may hear the errant F word and all that sort of thing. So just be advised.
What the fuck do you mean?
Exactly.
But hear me out though. Philly cheesesteak egg rolls.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes. Yes, definitely.
They are amazing.
Order 66 is supposed to be at the show, yeah?
Ah, shit. Never mind. I was going to say, well, after the show, I'll meet you at Sushi Heaven, but I'll be.
I was going to say Sushi Heaven's right in that same parking lot. I'll
Sushi
actually.
Heaven is fabulous.
The only time I'll take a little swerve the other way, and I'll have bar food. So.
Adrian, what's wrong there? What's wrong there, buddy?
He's back to go to Sushi Heaven.
No,
I love with you guys, but I moved far away.
Now, Adrian, we used to go to Sushi Heaven all the time. You love the place. Why are you so upset now?
Because I can't have it right now. That's why.
What? Oh,
Sushi is good for you, though.
It is. It is. It's good for your heart. All those omega-3s and whatnot.
It's amazing. It's delicious. And
it's better than baking soda.
I hate you all.
It's okay because Shane and I are going to go through, and the next time we're just going to broadcast live from Sushi Heaven.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, while we're talking about things that Adrian should be doing that doesn't, I mean, Adrian, you have been telling me that you're going to go with me to Exotica for a number of years now, and every year you don't show up. I mean, I was there this past weekend. Do you know the number of porn stars and beautiful women that were all over me all day long, and you weren't there to participate? I don't understand. Where were you? Where were you?
Well, I was trying to live, for one.
What?
Two, I said I was trying to live because the heart problems. I hate you slowly. No.
See, this would have been good for your heart. All the women and the relaxation. You saw the picture. I was picking girls up and holding them, and
it was nice. It was nice. That's why I hate you slowly, because you are the devil.
What? Why do you hate me?
Because I hate you.
If it makes you feel any better, I'm going to Shady Maple for my birthday.
That's wonderful, Shane. I'm so happy to hear that. What's wrong, Adrian?
I like potatoes.
Shane knows.
I'm actually gonna go get seafood, but
Shane knows that I never had the opportunity to go to Shady Maple. Really wanted to go to Shady Maple. He knows this.
Their breakfast is even better.
I fucking hate you so much.
While we have a second here, and because I've never had a chance to really say this, and I want to, Shane, I just want to tell you, you are one of my favorite wrestlers, and I am so sorry that I never ever had the chance to work you.
Adrian never got the chance to work me either.
I got a chance to work him in like a 4-way, a 3-way.
I'm sorry, I never got the chance to work you. Wait. He said I never got a chance to work you either. It wasn't a work, it was an assault, you bastard. That's what that was. It was a goddamn assault. I ended up almost in the hospital twice. And then
you can't have salt in your diet.
And deny the fact that you did a stage dive and bounced my head off a skating ring floor. I synced it. I can prove it. I got the knot in the back of my head. So I'm okay. I'm okay.
Adrian, you can't get excited like this. It's bad for your heart.
Hey, you're right. It is. I'm good. I'm okay.
Brian, we're playing a Shady Maple trip.
I fucking hate you.
It's funny you say that about having like the knot on your head, because did the star ever go away from your back?
Oh yeah. I ain't forgot about you. I
first got my stick, had it all done up and everything too, and Adrian's like, "Go ahead and hit me with it." I'm like, "All right, I got you." It had like a little elevated star on it and everything too, to match my logo and everything. And I swung. I thought the stick was gonna crack.
Yeah. Oh, that was a crack. All right, that was my shoulder blade. That's what it was.
But it worked for his gimmick, though. It was Adrian's star with a discolored star on his back shoulder.
It was a branding. I had ancestral PTSD from that. I was branded in a wrestling match. Not supposed to do that type of thing in 2020. I'm sorry. How the hell? I remember this conversation with you. I was like, "Yo, just hit me. I'll give you my back. I'll be ready for it." And okay. No, you did the same shit that he did. You yeah, fucking Babe Ruth my ass. That's what you did.
Probably one of the most.
You put me through a ring afterwards, so
what? No, I'm saying. Don't count. What is that?
Probably one of the most brutal hits I've ever seen. We were at a show and I was fighting the other manager, which was the Masked Mullet. So I'm outside the ring beating on him. And all of a sudden, Inferno was over there with Richie Nightmare. And he is ready to hit Nightmare with a chair. And Richie's bent over. And for whatever reason, Richie stood up after the swing was committed to. And it cracked him in the head. Full speed, no protection. And knocked him completely out. And Mullet and I are over there watching this going, oh, it was bad. It was a pretty serious concussion. I have no idea what caused him to stand up.
And now we know why Richie talks the way he does now.
The CTE is a thing.
Yeah, it is.
That's why Richie Nightmare was cleaning up blood off the floor at the last show I was at because he forgot his gimmick, so he's now the custodian.
Yeah. The cleaner, Richie Nightmare.
The cleaner, yeah.
No, that was actually that was a weird thing to see 4 guys gig accidentally in a match. That was the first time I've ever seen that happen.
They all walked back to the locker room. I was like, and you just see Louis G. Rich just walking and go, "What happened?"
Yeah. Yeah.
And I looked at my partner because we were wrestling against Baby Daddies, and we were like, "Oh, what just happened?" That was match 1.
Yeah, I was gonna say that set the tone for the show. You were like, "Holy cow!"
Somebody made a boo boo.
Yes.
Somebody made a big boo boo.
A little bit.
Well,
Corey.
Well, we're coming to an end of this one, but if everyone can follow our
Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, the X, and Spotify. Much greatly appreciated.
Remember this weekend, SSW at Love Drafts, right?
Yep, absolutely. Love Drafts. Doors are at 5. Bell time is at 6. Be there. It's going to be a lot of fun. Buy Larry and I drinks. We're going to get smashed.
18 and up, right?
Yes,
it's 18 and up, Sean?
absolutely.
18 and up.
Also, this weekend is the Georgia show. I'll be at OSW, Old School Wrestling.
Suicide Miles.
I was so focused on El Diablo, I missed the fact that it's Wolfgang versus Big Steel in a steel cage match.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Big Steel has a one-up on that one, but that's just me.
Well, I'm focused on El Diablo.
And then the following weekend, Order 66 versus Rose Gold Inc. at, is this SWO? Yeah, SWO.
Yep, right. SWO, yep.
And then
We have.
What is that? That's Seven Valleys, right?
Yeah. No, that's it's at the church in York.
Oh, okay. And then following that weekend will be Chesmania 2 in the Eagles Hall in Lebanon, PA, where I take on Alan Cross. The next night is in York, PA, Valor Pro Wrestling at Bonnie B. Grimes Gym. Tickets are all on sale. So hit us up for tickets. And then our guest for next week is Cody Rose. And then following that week is Eric Hayne. And then following that week on Black Friday at the show is the main guest is Rob Notches.
And for Black Friday, we'll announce the time and that too as we go through and have that all scheduled out and everything too when that broadcast will start. So look for updates on that for you as well. So absolutely.
Can't wait. So final question to Mr. Cross.
What?
If you can go back at the beginning of it all and tell your younger self anything, what would it be?
About wrestling, about my wrestling career, you mean?
Yes, about your wrestling career.
Don't talk
probably not to take the first half of my career so seriously, to relax and just enjoy it. I was so busy at that point trying to be the best wrestler I could be, and running around with Sam and taking it too seriously. Were we making enough money and all this other stuff? And I think about it. I've had so much more fun when I've just said, screw it. This is a hobby. I make my money elsewhere. And I really, really, get to just enjoy this and relax and everything else. That's what I would say. I really, really would. We always, at SSW, we always finish our meetings by reminding everyone that, remember, we're just grown men play fighting in our underwear. And I think that is absolutely an important thing to remember with what we do. Enjoy it. Take the time and enjoy it.
That sounds like something. Was it Jason Havitt that kind of said that when he was talking? When he was talking to us, like about taking it, taking that part too serious. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Heck yeah! He's like, and also don't talk to that lady named Candy. She's no good. She's no bueno.
Candy.
What? No, I just assumed it sounds like a stripper name, so it's the first name that popped in my head.
I mean, it is. It is a stripper name for sure.
Say there you go. Say.
Well, guys, until next week. Thank you, Dex, for being on.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Brian and Shady Maple Loser. We'll see you next week.
I swear to God, I'm going to stab you in the forehead.
Later.